Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first hearing here in 2024. And you'll be hearing a lot of information. Encourage you to pay attention. We'll do some presentations from up here first, and then we'll allow people that have applied for funding to speak as well. I think that's for 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what's coming here, and I'm going to turn it over to Deborah.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Deborah Smith. I'm the Director for the Department of Economic and Community Development. I have staff here with me today, Dave Dieter, Veronica Fields, and Shateria Franklin, who's in the audience to help anyone to sign in or to get a packet. Today, we will discuss the process for our proposed fiscal year 2024 annual plan, which is part of the 5-year consolidated plan. The 5-year consolidated plan was developed in 2020. This consolidated plan is effective from 2020 to 2024. Each year, the City of Erie updates the consolidated plan with an annual plan. This is actually year 5 in the 5-year consolidated plan. It's the last year for the 2020 annual plan. The plan is updated to ensure that we're still meeting the needs of the community. For the fiscal year 2020 plan, applications were available from December 1st, 2024 to January 26, 2024. There were presentations conducted on February 5th and February 9th. Today's the first public hearing. There'll be another hearing today at 6 p.m. with the same information. Today, we'd like to hear from you on what housing and community development needs that you feel are important for the Community Development Block Grant, the Home Investment Partnership, and Emergency Solutions Grants funding that DEC receives. DEC has not received our allocation yet, and this hearing will not have any dollar amounts listed for projects. The dollar amounts you see in the packet are funding allocations that were allocated to DECD for fiscal year 2023. The City of Erie prepared the 5-year consolidated plan in 2020 for the period of fiscal year 2020 to 2024. There were a number of meetings and focus groups that were held, and out of those meetings and focus groups, there were priorities that were put into the consolidated plan. And so they're following 6 priorities and subsequent goals and strategies that were identified for fiscal year 2020 through fiscal year 2024 for Community Development Block Grant, which is CDBG, Home Investment Partnership, which is HOME, and Emergency Solutions, which is ESG. The first one was housing priority. There's a need to improve the quality of housing stock in the community by increasing the amount of decent, safe, sound, and accessible housing for homeowners, renters, and homebuyers that is affordable to low and moderate persons and families. And the goals and strategies are housing rehabilitation, rental rehabilitation, housing construction, fair housing, home ownership, public housing. The second strategy and goal is homeless priority. There's a need for housing and support services for homeless persons and persons who are at risk of becoming homeless. And the goals and strategies are continuum of care, operational and support, prevention and housing, permanent housing. C was other special needs priority. There's a need for affordable housing services and facilities for persons with special needs and the disabled. And the goals and strategies are housing, social services, accessibility. D was community development priority. There's a need to improve the public and community facilities, infrastructure, public services, and the quality of life for all residents in the community. And the goals and strategies are community facilities, infrastructure, public services, accessibility, public safety, code enforcement, clearance, revitalization, historical preservation. E was economic development priority. There's a need to increase employment, self-sufficiency, education, job training, technical assistance, and economic empowerment of low and moderate income residents in the community. And the goals and strategies are employment, financial assistance, redevelopment program, financial incentives. F was administration, planning, and management priority. There's a continual need for planning, administration, management, and oversight of federal, state, and local funded programs. I am now going to turn that over to Dave Dieter, who will give you information on proposed funding amounts for fiscal year 2024 and the projected uses of funds for CDBG, ESG, and HOME.
Thank you, Deborah, and good morning, everyone. As Deborah mentioned, we have not yet received our 2024 allocations from HUD. So if you're looking at your agenda, the amounts that we have listed for the proposed funding for this year are actually last year's funding amounts. They're basically just placeholders until we get the announcement from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Be that as it may, for the Community Development Block Grant Program, we were anticipating in the neighborhood of $3,045,237. For the Home Investment Partnership or HOME program, $933,497. And for the Emergency Solutions Grant or ESG program, $273,428. With regard to the projected use of the funds for CDBG, we will be looking to fund activities that address the goals aligned with the priorities that Deborah identified, coming from out of the 2020-2024 consolidated plan as follows. Public facilities and improvements, park and playground improvements, street improvements, public service, housing rehabilitation, economic development, commercial and industrial rehabilitation, and planning and administration. With regard to the HOME program, we will be looking to support activities that address the goals aligned with priorities identified in the 2020-2024 CON plan as follows. Homeowner rehabilitation assistance, creation of new affordable rental housing, and increase home ownership. With regard to the Emergency Solutions Grant Program, our areas of focus are for emergency shelters, transitional shelters, and rapid rehousing. The allocation for the ESG funds locally is based on the ratio of the daily average number of beds provided per facility to the daily average provided by all facilities times the amount of ESG funds available for that particular activity. So for the 2024 allocation, that will be based on the 2022 average daily bed count. 2022 is the last complete year we have data, so that's what we use to work that into the formula. So with that, I will turn it over to Veronica Fields, who will review the schedule for preparation, adoption, and submission of the annual plan.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning, everybody. I am on page 5 of your packet. I will be reading the public hearing schedule of events. Critical dates. Notice was published in the classified section of the Erie Times News on Friday, February 16th, 2024, announcing the first public needs and input hearing, which is being held today, Monday, March the 4th, 2024, at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Notice will be published again on March 25th, 2024, announcing the second public hearing, which is being held on April 15th, 2024, beginning at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Citizens will be provided an opportunity to present their views on housing and non-housing community development needs and to comment on the priorities and level of funding assigned by the City of Erie in addressing the needs as contained in the HUD 5-year consolidated plan. Critical dates. December 1st, 2023 to January 26, 2024. Solicitation of proposals. Applications available beginning December 1st, 2023. January 26, 2024. Applications are due. January 31st through February 9th, 2024, review of applications. February 5th and February 9th, 2024, presentations for CDBG and home projects. February 16th, 2024, published notice for first public hearing. March the 4th, 2024, first public hearing, citizen input hearings at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. March 19th, or the 21st of 2024, study session with City Council. March 25th, 2024, published 5th annual plan, projected use of funds, advertised for the required 30-day public comment period ending April 25th, 2024. Second public hearing date will be advertised for April 15th, 2024. April 15th, 2024, second public hearing, citizen input. Hearings start at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. May the 1st, 2024, council authorization to submit 5th annual plan to HUD. May 13th, 2024, 5th annual plan submitted to HUD for required 45-day review period ending June 24th, 2024. June 5th and 19th, 2024, council appropriation and authorization to enter into contract with subrecipients. And finally, July 1st, 2024, the program year begins. I will turn it back over to Deborah.
Thank you, Veronica. At this time, this is ground rules for providing public comment. So at this time, we will take public comments for anyone out in the audience. We ask that you come up to the podium, state your name, your agency's name, and you'll have 5 minutes to give public comment. Please note that we will not respond to any of the comments that you make here. So the podium is open if anyone would like to come up and give public comment.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Bell Martin. I'm the Division Manager of GCAC. The housing program is under my supervision. Mr. Dieter, Ms. Field, Ms. Smith, and Ms. Franklin are all aware that we've had some challenges over the past few months since I've had the position in August 2023 of spending down our funding. And I'm sure you're all aware that we've had some difficulties with our reporting and our record keeping. With that in mind, I just want to share with you that we've all been in the positions we are for less than 2 years, and our program director has been in her position since July of 2023. So we're all relatively new. And as I noted, I just started back in August. Even with the challenges that we faced spending down our ESG funding, which was from 2019, 2020, 2021, years that we were not there largely. We've been able to keep the housing program operating even when there was just one staff available, when we've had people quitting over COVID. So our commitment to our consumers, to our people in the community who need our services has remained even through the challenges we faced. We've, Hilda right there is the one who was here by herself for months while we had no one else available to help in the housing department. And again, she kept it going. So I just want to understand that we've had some discussions about our funding. I know that Mr. DePlacido has been in conversations with you. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your patience with us and also to reaffirm to our commitment to providing housing for the people of our community. And that is why we applied for this grant. Going forward, we're a full complement of housing staff now. We're trained, we know what we need to do, and we're committed again to providing the housing services that this community needs. So thank you for your time. Appreciate your attention.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sarita Allen, and my corporation is Serenity Resource and Recovery. We deal in addiction and recovery. I do want to thank you guys for your time. I am a person in recovery myself. I've been in recovery for 6.5 years. Serenity Resource and Recovery is eager to serve the community in an impactful way this year. Our motive is we are the community for the community. And we are a self-funded nonprofit. We have been operating in the shadows. We aim to raise awareness for the fentanyl epidemic by hitting the streets and reaching out to those in need. Additionally, we provide support such as AA and A, our group called Walk by Faith. We just recently added a gambling addiction group. In 2023, we served over 300 individuals and their families with our services, our food bank we offer twice a week. We aspire to assist even more in 2024 with the right collaborations. One of our upcoming projects would involve building gender-specific tiny homes in Erie to establish a sober living environment for individuals in recovery. We also consider implementing a needle exchange program known as a PWID program. Research has shown that indicate new to drugs being ejected who have access to needle exchange programs are more likely to seek rehabilitation and discontinue drug use. These programs have been linked to 50% reduction in HIV and hepatitis C infections compared to areas without such programs. The primary goal of the needle exchange program is to reduce the sharing of contaminated needles and prevent the spread of infectious like HIV and hepatitis C among drug users. It's estimated that 1 in 10 individuals who eject drugs are diagnosed with HIV, and additionally, these programs offer connection to substance abuse treatment programs, clean syringes, sterile supplies, infection screening, vaccination, wound care, overdose prevention training, and referrals to mental health resources. These programs will bring a lot of new jobs and people to Erie. It's really a goal for me, because I have 7 children myself that's raised in the city. I want to thank you guys for your time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Mayor, Ms. Smith, and Dave, and Veronica. Bishop Frank Quinn from Christian Ministries of the Apostolic Faith Church, and we just recently started our new nonprofit, the Community Cornerstone Project, and we represent, this will be our 3rd year working with CDBG with economic development. And we run a cohort which has been very successful in the sense that we have increased our enrollment of individuals to either grow or start their business, which helps with the employment opportunities here in Erie. And we just want to express my great appreciation and gratitude toward these particular grants, because it affords those who are underserved in our community to have opportunity to have some economic development in their lives, and this affords a great mission and plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Gary Horton, Urban Erie Community Development Corporation. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and Debbie and Dave, Veronica, Renee, Shateria, for your leadership and your efforts to do more. You know I'm always challenging you to do more. I think we have to do more. And we can't do enough for the people. I see a lot in here, and I see a lot in the city where we invest in buildings and facilities and those kind of things. And I want to encourage us to invest more in the people of Erie with some of these funds. It's not like they have a lot of other places that they can go and get resources. We have to leverage that. I'd like to see more done for youth. I'd like to see it messaged that way, because often the message we get here in Erie is that we have problems with our young people. And so I'd like to see our programs reflect that we are doing something to do that. And I know that we are, and that, but it has to be reflected in our messaging. For the youth, or all we hear is there's nothing to do, nothing going on. and that, so I think we have to do more to promote that. On the housing things, I'd like to see what are the return on our investments. Is there a place that we can get a report as to how these programs are working and that how we're meeting these goals? I know we're doing them in a 5-year window. We're in the 4th year of that. Can we see how impactful our housing investments are, our economic development investments are in regards to helping people and not just building buildings, upgrading facilities, and all of those things that we need to have done. At the end, those things aren't paying for government. People do. And that we pay taxes, we buy products and services from the people who come and ask you to support their economic development efforts. I think it's fair that we ask to be shown what is our return in that investment, how these things connect to training people from Erie, to employing people from Erie, to assisting people from Erie with those investments that we make. I noticed that we're also, where do we go from our downtown investment? We speak loudly about our investment downtown. There's a lot of investment going on in downtown. In the next phase of our 5-year plan, are we going to have an equal type of investment in our neighborhoods? The last thing I'd like to suggest is that I think it would be good for the community, the good work that we are doing, if you would invite the secretary of HUD that oversees the Community Development Block Grant Program, if the mayor and your team would invite Secretary Marsha Fudge to Erie, Pennsylvania, to look at the work that we have been doing, to thank them for the support that they have given us, and to ask them, can they do more? Because our expectation, my belief, my hope is that they can do more. And that as I look across the country and look at some of the things that they're doing in other communities, I'm encouraged by that. And I would hope that the secretary would look at the manner in which we've conducted these programs to benefit them, that they would agree with us that they can do more in Erie. And with that, I thank you for the time and attention.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Good morning, Susanna Faulkner. I serve as Director of Development at the Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network. First of all, I want to echo what Mr. Horton said. I think investing in our youth we are at such a critical point. And our request this year for CDBG is exactly for that. It's for our supportive youth work program. We've been operating this program in our service area since 2013, so this will be our 11th year of offering it. The Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network works in 6 census tracts, and we serve from 12th Street to 26, from the Bayfront Connector to Cranberry. That is our service area. Now, teens are encouraged from across the city to apply to our program, but most of them do live in the neighborhoods that we immediately serve. For this program, we take teens who are seeking work for the first time, trying to create an effective and supportive, healthy relationship with work. So once teens are able to get their work permit at 14, they are eligible to apply. Our applications are open now until March 11th. We've been doing targeted outreach and meetings with every single middle school and high school, our different community centers, and really every avenue we can to get the word out, and applications have been flowing in. Once the teens go through the interview process, as well as various info sessions, they then not only have potentially their first job, but they also are building skills. So we offer multiple different education sessions throughout the time of their employment, including things like financial literacy, 21st century skills. We help them build their first resume. So it's a deeply a supportive environment, but it also is built on mentorship. So between our staff, which would be supported through the CDBG request, as well as our volunteers and our coaches, the teens are able to choose what area they would like to work in. Most of them do choose urban agriculture. There's a lot of interest in that area. We operate an urban farm, 8 community gardens, and 2 orchards, as well as many green spaces and parks throughout our service area. So teens will come on board in March and April. They will learn everything from planting the seeds and weeding and how to cultivate. Once the summertime comes, that's when our Little Italy Farmers Market is operational. So they will actually work the booth at the farmers market, selling the produce that they themselves harvest, which is really incredible. We also like to say it is the freshest, most local produce that you can get in Erie. It's grown on the same block that it's sold on, and it's cultivated by our local teens who often have their first jobs. And you can talk to them and ask questions to them at the booth about what the various produce and the items are. Now, towards the end of the season, they learn everything about how to prepare for winter and winterization of gardens and urban agriculture. Just 2 years ago, we had a teen in the program, some success stories. She was the first in her family to graduate high school. And she graduated Erie High with a certificate in urban agriculture and wants to go on to providing food for the community in her own way. Another thing I think that's really important to share, our last 2 years, we serve about 15 teens every summer in this program. The last 2 years, over half of them have been the only wage earner in their entire household. So when we say that the children are raising the parents, it is true. Half of these kids are the only one in their household that is bringing in an income. And so we are really trying to create a healthy environment with work, trying to help them, empower them to develop their skills. Beyond urban agriculture, they can work with our various team members and volunteers and coaches in our bike program, which last year supplied 215 bikes to new Americans and refugees. They can work on some of our housing projects. We rehab and rent homes in our affordable housing program, as well as our Genesis home buying program. And so the teens really get to choose what their path is. If they're interested in, say, becoming a contractor, which we know we need so many more contractors in the city, they can develop those immediate skills in our housing projects. So we are requesting a little bit over $35,000 to help support this youth work experience program. This is a program that is also supported by PA-DCED tax credit dollars. It's also supported by the Erie County Grants for Other Organizations. This year was our first year of having a cut in that grant from the county, as there were many budget cuts at the county level this last year. So this funding is incredibly important for us with this request to fill that gap and to ensure that this program is able to serve at least 15 teens in this upcoming season and to carry on for many more years in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for this opportunity. My name is Edison Nicholson. I'm with the Youth Leadership Institute of Erie. We run an education and career training program for high school students. And I say that because that is one of the areas that is being left out when we come to reaching out to young people. We're talking about that age group from 13 up to about 18 years of age. One of the growing problems that we have here in Erie, Pennsylvania, not only Erie, Pennsylvania, but around the country, is the fact that after the pandemic, young people are no longer, and they weren't so much doing it before, but young people are no longer just coming to facilities and sitting there for after-school programs. We have to now take our services to them. We can no longer just open our doors and say, whosoever will, let them come. It's not going to happen. So what we're doing at the Youth Leadership Institute of Erie, we're looking at we're assessing our programs, revamping. We have a board retreat on the 4th of March, or not 4th of March, but the 9th of March. We're going to be meeting and discussing how can we bottle up our programs and actually take those programs into the community. One of the things that I endured, or I love to see, is when the truck comes around, the ice cream truck from the POW unit comes around to the different kids in the neighborhood passing out ice cream cones. That is just a treat to see, you know, but that's what we need. We need more outreach. We don't need people opening the doors and asking them to come in on a hot summer day or a hot day or after school. We need to be able to take our programs to them. So I'm asking you to support these programs that are looking to actually take their services and their programs to the young people, and especially those young people in the ages of 13 to 18 years of age. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, thank you. Jeff Brooks, International Institute of Erie, USCRI Erie. We made a proposal for Housing Advocate. We welcome about 400 new Americans into Erie every year. Of these, well over 80% become self-sufficient after 90 days to 180 days. What we could use with this money is help people be more self-sufficient, help people that are larger families, single mothers, and help the landlords and the tenants get a better relationship. The people we serve are primarily living between Parade Street and East Avenue in Erie, from 26th Street down to 6th Street. So this is an area where the landlords were developing a relationship. After our last discussion, we talked about utilizing the city's landlord registration and inspection program more, and that's something we're trying to implement. But thank you again for your time. Enjoy your day.
You too.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Bishop Curtis Jones, Sr. I am representing the Historical Institute of Culture and the African American Experience, which is a African American museum of people of BIPOC museum located at 315 East 9th Street. Over the last 8 days, we have serviced over 2,000 Erie School District students from 5th, 7th, and 9th grade. They were very excited about some of the things they saw in the museum. Even some of the teachers were not aware of some of the artifacts that are in the museum. Within the museum, we have this particular show. We have 23 African-American, local African-American artists. We also have 4 rooms that are dedicated to African-American inventors. We have 1 room that's dedicated to local military. So I just wanted to bring attention and awareness to what we are doing over on East 9th Street. Again, it is a 9,500 square feet facility, which will be eventually connecting the church and extending it, which is also a 9,700 square feet facility. So close to 20,000 square feet we are dedicating to an African American museum. We've done some research and found out that Buffalo, we're searching Buffalo and Cleveland. We're understanding that they may not have an African American museum. We know that Pittsburgh does not have a strictly African American museum. They have centers that do cultural things, but they don't have a facility that is dedicated to African American museum. So Erie, I think, is a great place to have an African American museum that incorporates three states. So we'd be the center or the hub of an African American museum. And so we're just proud to be able to do that. Again, just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak or give comments?
Good morning. Boy, you have a lot to consider. I hear all these good things back here, and in the instant, they're all important. And I wouldn't want to be in your shoes because there's a lot to consider. But whether it be the housing or the employment or the training, one thing I can tell you is, my name is John Kelton. I'm with the Erie County Reentry Program. It's a shorter version of the Erie County Reentry Services and Support Alliance. What I will tell you is this, these are all important programs. Our program is important because you have a lot of people here coming back into the community who need what these people have. We have people coming from outside the state back to this community because they hear what you have here to offer. What we do is very different. We know that all these things exist, and so do they, but what they don't know is how to get there. And what we do is we actually take the time to listen to these people, actually get a good feel of who these people are, what their needs really are. If it's housing, we know where to put them. If it's housing and they're not sure exactly what they can afford, we use the resources behind us to make that happen. Jobs, every day we're placing people in jobs. Last week alone we had 12 people. Of those 12 people, we placed 10 with jobs. That is the beginning of everything else, whether it be the training that they need for the jobs, the money that they need to rent these homes. But our program is very important because these people come out without anything. And without direction, they become very desperate. And with desperation comes something that we don't want to see in our communities. So I appreciate your consideration for our program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
Good morning. My name's Christian Simbita. I'm here to represent 1001 State Street. Just wanted to make a general comment that what I've heard today from almost all of these folks, and in particular Mr. Horton, is that the needs for agencies and folks who are doing this work seems to me that it's a little bit deeper. And so I would just want to make the statement to encourage you all to look at where these investments that you're making will have the biggest impact on the most people, rather than spreading out the money so thin that it touches everyone but doesn't touch them deeply, as many of these programs need to be funded to that level to make the changes that they seek to make. And so I guess that's all I really wanted to say, that just to consider what you're doing as investments rather than spending money, and this idea of accountability and reporting the results of those investments in the future, I think would help not only to lobby for more funds, but also to understand what works and what doesn't, and where you're getting the most impact for your dollar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Is there anyone else who'd like to make public comment? Okay. All right, I just want to say before I turn it back over to the mayor that the list of proposed projects and activities for fiscal year 2024 will be advertised in the Erie Times newspaper on March 25th, 2024. Please note that everything is proposed until we receive our funding from HUD. Also, City Council will have the final vote on the proposed projects. The next public hearing will be on April 15th, 2024 at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Hopefully we'll have our funding allocations at that time, but just keep in mind everything is proposed, and HUD has not signed, the federal government has not signed the budget yet, and so that's why everything's proposed. Mayor?
And I would just like to thank all of you for being here. Those were great presentations. We don't know yet how much money we're going to get, but we'll use it in the best possible way. So I really appreciate all of you being here. I also want to thank Tyler Titus from City Council for being here with us today as well. Thanks very much. We'll be back at 6 this evening, and then hopefully we'll learn how much money we're going to get fairly soon after that. So thanks very much for being with us. Have a great day today.
Thank you.